Trip was into Urbex, but Urbex with a twist. He liked to explore alone. Oh, he'd go with a group, but he found it more diverting. Found he got a bigger bounce going it alone, which is how he ended up alone in the sanitarium. The sanitarium was in a valley just outside of town. Last century it was used to house TB patients, tuberculosis, TB patients at first, until care was extended to include mental patients, some with homicidal tendencies. Of course, the place was said to be haunted, and there were rumors of illicit experiments on the inmates. So how could Trip resist? He didn't even try. Alas, Trip's friends bailed on him last minute. He didn't know if they were afraid of ghosts or psycho killers or what. Maybe they were scared of old germs. Whatever. So Trip went it alone and was disappointed. There was nothing but empty rooms with nary a stick of furniture and no dust or cobwebs. Trip figured his greatest danger might be dying of boredom. At least, that's how he felt at first. But after half an hour, he began to feel, creeped out. The old sand was not only empty, it was too clean. Where was all the usual garbage, the empty beer cans, the fast food containers? Where were the signs of partying, the squatters, the homeless, the graffiti and profanity? Where were the pentagrams? The place was made for pretend devil worship. Devil worship and amateur Satanism. No, it was too clean. Was he the first one to explore it? A huge abandoned building, and no one had ever entered? Why? What kept them away? The doors to the building weren't even locked. It made Trip uneasy. Outside, he could hear distant thunder. A storm was rolling in. Trip figured he'd give it 15 minutes, and if there was still nothing but empty rooms and quiet corridors, he was gone. And then, in an upper room, he found it. A solitary camp bed. Is somebody sleeping here? Trip wondered. But there were no signs of life or habitation, no objects or belongings on the floor. Nothing. Trip's spidey sense told him he should leave before the storm hit. But he was too late. The tempest broke with a stupendous clap of thunder which shook the entire building. Flashes of vivid lightning illuminated the torrential rain, and Trip knew he couldn't get to his car without getting soaked. Not that his car was far away, but just far enough. He decided to wait it out, and so he waited, and waited, and waited, and waited, and waited. But after 30 minutes, the storm showed no signs of abating. Worse yet, his vape was in the car, so he had no way to pass the time. And then it hit him. The camp bed! The camp bed! If he was stuck here, he might as well stretch out and cop a few Z's. Trip made his way back to the room and lay down on the camp bed. And soon, being tired, bored, and a little stressed, the white noise of the storm lulled him to sleep, and then to dream. Trip dreamed he walked the empty corridors of the Sanitarium, and it struck him how much the murky hallways reminded him of the Creepypasta Backrooms of urban legend. He then found the room with the camp bed and saw himself stretched out and sound asleep, but realized he wasn't alone, realized he was staring at himself through the eyes of another, through hostile, malevolent eyes, eyes of one who meant to harm him. This other glided silently into the room, and there was a knife in its hand, a long, sharp knife. There was an explosion of thunder, a blinding flash of lightning, and the other slammed the knife into Tripp's chest, slammed it so hard the tip sliced through Tripp's body and into the mattress. Tripp's body went into convulsions, but no. He woke up, and with a shock of terror, Tripp saw that there really was a figure in the doorway, a tall, shadowy figure, which appeared, weirdly enough, to be wearing a fedora. And it had a long knife in its hand, the sharp blade reflecting each flash of lightning. Tripp leapt from the bed and yelled, "What do you want?" But it was obvious what the figure wanted as it stepped towards him. It wanted him. Tripp was unarmed, but without thinking, he charged the figure with the camp bed, slamming it violently into the figure, the frame of the bed colliding with the frame of the door. As the bed recoiled, Tripp saw, to his utter astonishment, that the figure had vanished. But maybe not quite, for on the floor lay a crumpled fedora and the long, sharp knife. And then Tripp was running for the exit, and the whole time he was sure he was being pursued. But when he turned to look, he saw nothing. Nothing, but still. Of course, he got soaked by the time he made it to the car, and when he was home, he stripped off his clothes, fell into bed, and was instantly asleep. To sleep, perchance to dream. Tripp dreamed he walked the empty corridors of the Sanitarium, and it struck him how much the murky hallways reminded him of the Creepypasta Backrooms of urban legend. He then found the room with the camp bed and saw himself stretched out and sound asleep, but realized he wasn't alone, realized he was staring at himself through the eyes of another, through hostile, malevolent eyes, eyes of one who meant to harm him. This other glided silently into the room, and there was a knife in its hand, a long, sharp knife. There was an explosion of thunder, a blinding flash of lightning, and the other slammed the knife into Tripp's chest, slammed it so hard the tip sliced through Tripp's body and into the mattress. Tripp's body went into convulsions, but no. He woke up, and it was daylight, brilliant rays of sunlight streaming in through the windows. He was safe and was sighing with contentment when he saw them. A battered, wet fedora was perched atop the other pillow, while a long knife had stabbed into the mattress at his feet. And that's when he heard someone chuckle. The moral of the story: a hat on the bed is bad luck. When he saw it, Trip no doubt felt a stab of fear. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the night floaters, werewolves, and the black-eyed children. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs. Till midnight, cheers. Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Pix here, that's PX here, while the music was the dreadful The Dread by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod.